Welcome to week 6. This week's lesson is about knowing where a computer stores data when permanently trying to keep it. So again, our central question is, how do computers work? We've looked last week at RAM and ROM. These are forms of primary storage, so that's where the computer keeps all of the files currently in use. This week is about secondary storage. This is about where we can store our data permanently without losing it. So let's look at some success criteria. So again, looking at memory, primary storage, and then introducing the 3 types of secondary storage: magnetic, optical, and solid state. And then looking at where these secondary storage mediums fit in, and then which one is best. So why do you think the save button looks like this? It's because it's down to saving to an old style secondary storage device, a floppy disk. Floppy disks were around a long time ago and were used to permanently save files. This is why this is stuck. Secondary storage. Everybody has probably made the mistake of typing up a document and then exiting without saving the work. I know I have done many times. Why was the computer able to display the document but wasn't able to keep it permanently? This goes back to last week's topics of RAM and ROM. So let's see if we can fill in the blanks. As you type your document, the contents are something in RAM, primary storage, which is something. It won't keep its contents when the power is. We need a place to save our work. This is where secondary storage comes in. So let's have a look at the answers. As you type your document, the contents are stored in RAM, primary storage, which is volatile. Volatile meaning it can change quickly. It won't keep its contents when the power is off. We need a place to save our work permanently. This is where secondary storage comes in. Secondary storage is persistent or permanent storage. We use it to store files, documents, applications, and data that we need to be stored for longer than the current session. There are 3 main types: optical, magnetic, and solid state. Optical. This is a type of storage that uses light, usually a laser, to reflect off a shiny disk. Marks and grooves are burned into the disk, and these reflect differently to an area without a mark, so they can be read by a laser. Thinking of binary zeros and ones. Hence a reflection shows a 1 and no reflection shows a 0. This is how we can store those 1s and 0s on an optical disk. Examples of this type of storage are CD-ROM, DVD-ROM, and more commonly these days as Blu-rays. They all use the same thing. They all use grooves and marks burnt into the disk using a laser. The only difference is how much they can store. Magnetic storage. This type of storage uses magnets to make different patterns of magnetization on a disk. Notice the different spelling of disk. A read-write head is used to create and read the marks. So an image here shows a typical hard disk. It has disks in there just like a CD, but instead of using a laser, it uses magnetic fields to store the 0s and 1s. Examples of this type of storage are a hard disk, an old style floppy disk, and something called a magnetic tape. Solid state. This type of storage uses something called flash memory. These are far more common these days. Flash memory stores data by using a series of transistors that can be switched on or off by electricity. Transistors retain their state even when the power is off, making this a permanent storage type. Examples include solid-state drive, or an SSD, more commonly known as an SD card, which might go into a camera, or a USB pen drive or memory stick, so USB memory sticks. Your task this week: to conduct your own research into how these three storage technologies work. In the above PowerPoint and today's lesson, use all the information and what you can find with your research. You should then fill in the graphic provided with your findings. The graphic is on Firefly page, which you can then download and complete your work. You can complete it digitally and submit this, or you can print it off and complete using pens and paper. Try to be technical and detailed. It should include how the data is stored on each type, what advantages and disadvantages do each have, and some examples. So we've looked over how data is stored on each type, a few advantages, and some examples in this lesson, but you will have to find further advantages and disadvantages that each have. Here is the graphic, which is included on Firefly. It's just a separation between the three different storage devices. So once that's complete, there is a mini quiz to test your knowledge about those three different devices on 7 different scenarios. So using the advantages that you've collected, which storage devices would you suit for each of these? The link is on Firefly, or you can click through from this PowerPoint using click here. Thanks for watching, good luck.